Dear friends, today we will discuss circular motion. Circular motion. It's too much we discussed about the linear motion, but today little curve motion we'll discuss. That is circular motion. But what do you mean by circular motion? So circular motion we'll discuss. But what do you mean by circular motion? When a body moves in a circle, then it is called a circular motion. Very simple. Body moves in a circle means the body moves in such a way that its distance from a fixed point always remains constant. The body moves in such a way that its distance from a fixed point that always remains constant, then the body is said to be in circular motion. The distance always remains constant, that is the radius. That fixed point is called as a center, and the body which moves on its path, the body moves on the path is circular. So this is the circular motion. So in your day-to-day life around you, is there any such motion like this? If there is such motion in day-to-day life, you just make a list of those type of motion. Just make a list. You pause the video here and make a list. What type of such motion are available in day-to-day life around you? So now you play the video and see. I think the examples you have written: motion of earth around sun, motion of earth around sun. This example first comes to the mind of the students. You are writing these examples, okay? I know you must have written these examples in your copy. So second, I'll tell motion of hands of clock, motion of hands of clock, or someone write motion of blades of a fan, fan move in circular motion. And then, so more examples. If you tie something by the help of a string and then make it move in like this in a vertical circle, that is also circular motion. With a string, you just tie a stone and rotate it like this. Also, that is circular motion. Stone tied in a string and move in vertical circle. This is also circular motion. So these are examples you have written, but let us check whether these examples are circular motion or not. Come to the first one. Motion of earth around sun. Is it circular? It is not circular motion. In your childhood, first your teachers told you that earth moves around the sun in circular path. But that is not correct. That is not correct. Actually, earth moves around the sun in elliptical path. That's not a complete circle. But it was taught to you just assuming like that, assuming the ellipse as a circle, as your brain size was very less in the lower classes. Okay? So, motion of earth around sun, that is not completely circular, but we can assume the motion as circular, but that is not completely circular motion. Motion of hands of a clock, it is the best circular motion. Best circular motion. Motion of blades of fan Also the blades move in every point of the blade moves in circular path. Stone tied by string that is in your hand, you have to make it to move in circular path. So like this, many examples are there which are circular motion around us. But all this circular motion are classified into two categories. They are classified into two categories. So what are the two categories this circular motion is classified into? So one category is uniform circular motion. Another is non-uniform circular motion. Uniform and non-uniform circular motion is classified into two types. One is uniform, one is non-uniform. But what do you mean by uniform circular motion? Uniform means its speed constant. Speed remains constant. Speed constant, always moves with constant speed. We cannot tell that velocity constant, because in circular motion velocity is never constant. Why? Because circular motion means body moves in a circle. So always its direction changes. So we cannot tell that the body is moving with a constant velocity. That we cannot tell, because direction must change. So speed remains constant. That is called uniform circular motion. The circular motion in which speed is always constant, that is called uniform circular motion. And this one is obviously speed not equal to constant. Varying speed, that is non-uniform circular motion. So what are the examples of uniform circular motion? Here some examples I have written as this cut from this circular motion part. So now let's cut this one. It's not circular motion. We will not assume. So uniform circular motion, where the speed always remains constant. Out of this, there is such example of uniform circular motion. Let's check. So this one is better uniform circular motion. Motion of hands of clock, giving you the proof that I am uniform. The hands of the clock move in the hands of the clock move in circular path. They show the time. Always regular motion. Always uniform circular motion. Otherwise, they will not show you the correct time. From the starting when your clock is manufactured, from that day, it is so uniform circular motion everywhere, in every clock, all over the world. Then non-uniform circular motion. This one, where speed is not constant, stone tied in a string and move in a vertical circle. Vertical circle means it moves like this. See, move like this. Okay, when it moves like this, what happens? When it moves up, its speed decreases. Speed decreases when it moves up, and when this side, when it moves down, speed increases. So speed decreases, speed increases when you make to move a body in circular motion tied in a string. Okay, so that is non-uniform circular motion. Next, motion of blades of fan. That is a combo of uniform and non-uniform. How that is a combo? When the switch of the fan is just on, the blades start rotating. Start rotating like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. Now you see speed increases. Speed gradually increases when the switch is just on. So it's a non-uniform circular motion when the switch is just on, the motion of the blades, non-uniform circular motion. But after some time of a switch on, After some time, what happens? It moves with a constant speed. After some time, it moves with a constant speed like this. Constant speed like this. So from the starting, it is non-uniform because speed increases. Then after some time, it's uniform. But when switch is off, you see, switch off. What happens? Speed decreases. So when switch on, non-uniform. When switch off, non-uniform. But in between, the fan moves with uniform circular motion if you are not operating its regulator. Okay? If you are not operating its regulator. So these are the examples of uniform and non-uniform circular motion. And what is uniform, what is non-uniform, we discussed. So now let's come to the different quantities involved in circular motion. What are the different quantities involved in this circular motion? In linear motion, when we want to get the position of the body, which quantity we define to get position of the body? Distance and displacement. Here, which quantity we need to find position of the body? The body is at A. Suppose after del t time the body comes to B. After time del t, the body is at point B. This is the radius. So now this is the position. So body is at B. I join the radius vector there. When at A this is the radius vector, at B this is the radius vector. So if I ask where the body is, what you will tell, so that I can have an idea that the body is there. What you will tell? We will take the help of that quantity to get the position of the body. What is that quantity? That is nothing but this angle. Nothing but this angle theta. If I tell the body was at A, after some time, where is the body? The body is such a position that its angle made by the radius vector is 30 degree, 60 degree, 45 degree. Then you can draw the angle, you can reach to the body. You can draw the angle, you can reach to the body. So this angle determines the position of the body in this circular motion, and that quantity is called as angular displacement. Angular displacement, that is the symbol is theta and its SI unit is radian, is its SI unit, and dimensional formula is m0 l0 t0. Angular displacement dimensional formula. It's a scalar or vector. That's also a big point. Angular displacement is a vector quantity. You know, I have told you that vectors are of two types, polar and axial. But at that time you had not seen any example of axial vector. Okay, so now you come to know this vector is actually one axial vector. Angular displacement is an axial vector, and where is its direction? If you use the right hand thumb rule, if the body is moving like this, use right hand thumb rule. Crawling of the fingers, the sense of rotation, the sense of circular path. Then thumb indicates the direction of angular displacement. So it is always along the axis of rotation. It's axial vector and direction is always along axis of rotation. This is the direction. And exact direction we can able to determine by using your thumb rule. Okay. So this is angular displacement. So when body moves from A to B, theta is the angular displacement and this is the linear displacement. A to B. This is the linear displacement. But if theta is very small, this AB chord is equivalent to AB arc. AB arc and AB chord are almost same. So when body moves from A to B, this is the displacement is AB and angular displacement is theta. Is there any relation between them? Is there a relation? Yes, there is one relation between them. So what is that relation? Let's find now in the sector. Now we find the relation. What relation will we find? Relation between S and theta. S vector means linear displacement and theta vector means angular displacement. This relation you can find from that sector. Which sector? AOB sector. Theta is equal to L by R. This formula you can use. Central angle theta is equal to L by R. If I use the same formula here, so this is theta, this L is AB, L is AB arc and R is your radius. But I told you this AB arc is almost same as AB, which is nothing but a displacement. So theta is equal to S by R. Theta is equal to S by R. Then S can be written as, so now you see, S can be written as S is equal to theta R. S is equal to theta R. So if it is like this is the relation between linear displacement and angular displacement. But another thing you mark here. S is which quantity? Linear displacement is which quantity? So it is a vector. Theta angular displacement, it is also a vector. Radius, it is also a vector. So all three are vectors. If they are vectors, we should write this relation in vector form. If we do in vector form, S vector is equal to, so theta vector, R vector product. Can you tell me which product I will write here? Which product I will write here? If the answer is coming in your mind, that is dot product. Dot. Then you are wrong. Then you are wrong. How? Because as result is a vector, result is also a vector, so this product must be cross product. This product must be cross product. So S vector is equal to theta vector cross R vector. So this is the vector form between linear displacement and angular displacement. So now we move to angular velocity. What is angular velocity? Let's come to angular velocity. So velocity, what is velocity in a linear motion? Velocity is the time rate of change of displacement. How? Displacement varies with time. How displacement varies with time, that is velocity. Similarly, angular velocity. Angular velocity is similarly you can tell. Yes, you can tell. Similarly, what is the definition of angular velocity? What is the definition? If you are thinking, it is the time rate of change of angular displacement, then you are correct. So angular velocity is the time rate of change of angular displacement. This theta changes in which rate? Is it changing faster or it is changing slower? If it is changing in slow rate, angular velocity is less. If it's changing in faster rate, angular velocity is more. So to know the time rate of change of angular displacement, we need angular velocity. Symbol is omega. Its symbol we pronounce it as omega. Okay, we read it as omega. Then it is its SI unit, omega SI unit. What is this formula? Formula is del theta by del t, or we can write d theta by dt. Because I told you rate of change of angular displacement. So accordingly, what is its SI unit? SI unit theta is radian and del t is second. So its SI unit is radian per second. Then dimensional formula, theta dimensionless, only t dimension. Theta has no dimension, only dimension of t. So that is m0, l0, t minus 1. T minus 1. It is scalar or vector. Which quantity? It is a vector quantity. Not only vector, but it is also axial vector. Means its direction is along the axis of rotation, axis of motion. Axial vector. Okay, so it is also axial vector, and its direction also you can determine by your right hand thumb rule. So this is about the angular velocity. Let's find a relation between angular velocity and linear velocity. How we find the relation between them? Angular velocity and linear velocity. Okay, so relation between angular velocity omega, linear velocity v. Relation between them. Okay, we know that omega, we know, or we can write here omega. Yes, omega is equal to del theta by del t. That we know, omega is equal to del theta by del t. Then we bring del theta from the relation of linear displacement and angular displacement. What was the relation there? Del theta is equal to del s by r, or I had written theta is equal to s by r, same thing, no problem. So del theta is equal to del s by r. This relation I brought just from the previous angular velocity and the linear velocity relation. So in place of del theta, what I can write? Del s by r into del t. So this is omega. So omega is equal to, what is del s by del t? That is nothing but a v. Del s by del t is nothing but a linear velocity, that is v. So what relation you get here then? V is equal to r omega. So this is the relation between them. This is the relation between them. V is equal to r omega. But again, velocity is a vector quantity. Its direction is along tangent. Linear velocity, all linear quantities direction is along tangent, and r is radius vector, omega is the vector which is along axis of rotation. Okay, so what is the relation between them? Vector relation. Vector relation is v vector is equal to omega vector r vector. Which product is here? Dot product? No, because as the result is also a vector, so here the product is cross product. So this is the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity. So from this angular velocity, always one question comes in exam. So I will not forget to give you that question as a homework. Question is, find angular velocity of hour hand, minute hand and second hand. 3 hands are there in the clock. You have to find out angular velocity of the 3 hands of the clock. Okay, so this is about the angular velocity, and this is the question you have to do. So then we'll come to the next quantity. You guess what is the next quantity? After velocity, what comes in the linear motion? Acceleration. Here also the same comes, that is acceleration. Now let's see acceleration. But this is which acceleration? This is angular. This is angular acceleration. Similar formula. Acceleration is change in velocity by change in time. Similarly, angular acceleration is also change in angular velocity by change in time. Angular acceleration symbol is alpha. Del omega by del t. Change in angular velocity per change in time. Or I can write d theta by dt. Not theta, d omega by dt. Alpha also can be written as d omega by dt. Time rate of change of angular velocity. One extra thing you will get here. In place of omega, let's write its formula. D theta by dt. So what we are getting here? D square by dt square theta. So what is your conclusion? You have done also this similar thing in linear motion. What is your conclusion? Angular acceleration is the double derivative of angular displacement. If angular displacement is given, you just differentiate it twice, then you will get angular acceleration. So this is angular acceleration, but what is its SI unit? SI unit is, this is radian per second divided by second. Radian per second divided by second. So it's coming radian per second square. This is the SI unit of angular acceleration, radian per second square. Then dimensional formula, radian has no dimension, so this is m0 L0 t to the power minus 2. Only second square remain, so the dimension formula is like this. Then, as usual, it's a scalar or vector. It's a vector. Not only vector, but axial vector. Where is its direction? Its direction is again along the axis of rotation. So this is angular acceleration. But we'll find now the relation between angular acceleration and linear acceleration, which is a very important and the understanding based portion of this chapter. We'll find the relation between angular acceleration and linear acceleration. Angular acceleration is alpha relation between alpha and a. Angular acceleration and linear acceleration, we find the relation between them. Okay, now let's see. It's a very interesting thing this is. Let's start from here. We know the vector form. V is equal to omega cross r. Let's start from here. One very important concept we will get here. So just differentiate both sides with respect to time. Differentiate both sides with respect to time. So what is dv by dt? That is acceleration. But what about this one? We have to use product rule for differentiation. Product rule for differentiation. So d omega by dt cross r plus omega cross dr by dt. First derivative cross a second plus first cross a second derivative, but don't change the order. Omega r, don't change the order, don't take this cross omega to the right side because cross product is not commutative. Cross product is not commutative. But what is d omega by dt? This is alpha. Then what is dr by dt? This is v. So a vector acceleration is the combination of two terms. This is one term, this is one term. Combination of two terms. When two terms are added, then we are getting the acceleration. When two terms are added, then we are getting the acceleration. So these two terms must be what? There must be acceleration. If two terms are added and we are getting acceleration, so these two terms must be what? Acceleration. So their acceleration. If their acceleration, let's see their direction. Where is their direction? So alpha vector cross r vector. Alpha vector cross r vector. Before telling the direction, I want to give one very important information here. That alpha, theta, omega, they all act along the axis. All linear quantity like linear displacement s vector, v vector, they act along the tangent. They act along the tangent. Okay, and r is the radius vector. So alpha vector, r vector, let's discuss about this one first. So to explain this, I have brought one circular. One circular body moves in circular path here, suppose. Okay, so where is alpha direction? Alpha is along axis, means like this. Alpha is along axis, means like this. Okay, it is along axis. R vector is along radius. I am showing this is R vector. I am showing that this is R vector. You see, this pencil is along R vector. This alpha is here. So when alpha and r are multiplied by cross, we will get another quantity. We will get another quantity, and that is acceleration. That must be perpendicular to alpha and r. So our acceleration direction will be perpendicular to this r as well as perpendicular to this alpha. Where is its direction? See, radius gone, axis gone, then only what remain? Tangent. So the direction of, you see, this is the direction. This is the direction of this fast acceleration, alpha cross r. So this is alpha. See now all these three. This black marker is alpha. This pencil is r. Alpha r, this is alpha, this is r. They must be perpendicular to their result. Their result is this one, tangent. See, tangent perpendicular to r. Also tangent perpendicular to alpha. See, also tangent perpendicular to alpha. Okay, tangent perpendicular to alpha. So when alpha cross r is done, this is alpha, this is r, the result is this one, means along the tangent. So this acceleration, this component of acceleration moves along the tangent, so its name is tangential acceleration. Its name is tangential acceleration. Let's come to this one. Second part, omega cross v. Where is omega? Again this one. This is omega along the axis. Where is v? V is this red marker along the tangent. V is linear quantity, this is along the tangent. So this is V, this is omega. So they are perpendicular to what? Only what remain now? Tangent gone, axis gone. What remain? Radius. And also radius is perpendicular to, you see, this is the radius. The pencil is the radius. Radius is perpendicular to both the markers. Radius is perpendicular to this marker and radius also perpendicular to this marker. Okay, so means radius is perpendicular to omega and radius is also perpendicular to V, also perpendicular to V. So omega cross V, this is omega, this is V, their cross is perpendicular to them, so that is nothing but radius, because radius is perpendicular to both. Okay, so this acceleration is directed along radius. So its name is radial acceleration. So now you got two accelerations here. The resultant acceleration A vector is a combination of two accelerations here. One is tangential acceleration, one is radial acceleration. Now let's do more analysis about these two accelerations. Tangential acceleration. So this is alpha vector cross r vector. So can I write tangential acceleration? It's a mod alpha vector cross r vector mod. So this is alpha r sine, what is that? Alpha is axis of the circular path, r is radius. The angle between them is 90 degree. So this is alpha r. Tangential acceleration is alpha r. Now come to the radial acceleration. Come to the radial acceleration. So what is the expression of radial acceleration? That is omega cross v. Radial acceleration is omega cross v. So this is radial acceleration. So that means only the magnitude is omega v sine. What is the angle? Omega is the axis of circular path and v is the tangent. So angle between them is 90 degree. So this is omega v. If you put in place of omega v by r, so you will get v square by r. So radial acceleration is v square by r. Or also I can tell omega, if in place of v you will put omega, so v is equal to r omega, so result will come omega square r. This is also radial acceleration. Radial acceleration. So this acceleration, radial acceleration, it acts along the radius towards the center. Here it has, hence it has another name, also called centripetal acceleration. It is another name called as centripetal acceleration. So this is the two accelerations. So that means when a body moves in circular path, it may have two accelerations. One is radial acceleration, one is tangential acceleration. But you try to understand, try to listen each word what I told. It may have two accelerations. That means situation is there. That one acceleration present? Yes. Yes. So when a body moves in circular path, it may have two accelerations. So now what is the net acceleration here? Net acceleration. If net acceleration is the vector sum of AT and AR. So net acceleration will get mod. What is the angle between tangent and radius? Tangent and radius are always perpendicular to each other. So this is AT square plus AR square root over. This is the net acceleration of the body. Net acceleration of the body. If I will show you in vector form, if I show you in diagram, see the diagram. Tangential acceleration is in this direction. Radial acceleration is in this direction. So where is the resultant? The resultant is in this direction. And the angle made by the resultant with radius vector, if we find, suppose beta, tan beta is equal to, this is the tangential acceleration also, this is because it's parallel, tan beta is equal to 80 by AR. where beta is the angle made by the resultant acceleration, net acceleration with radius. So you now understood what is tangential acceleration and what is radial acceleration. You understood? No. Actually, you didn't understand now what is tangential acceleration and what is radial acceleration. Okay, you understood, but you understood mathematically. But you didn't understand physics behind it. You just understand everything mathematically, that the body in circular motion may have two acceleration. But now we'll understand physically what is tangential acceleration and what is radial acceleration, because that part is very important. Now we'll understand it physically, physics point of view. To understand it in physics point of view, let's find the difference between uniform circular motion and non-uniform circular motion. Between them, now let's find the difference, so that you can able to understand what is tangential acceleration, what is radial acceleration, and when they comes to action. Uniform circular motion means speed constant, but here speed not constant. Here what about omega? Angular velocity. If v constant, then omega is equal to v by r. So this is also constant. But here omega not constant. Then what about alpha? Angular acceleration. Alpha. Alpha is d omega by dt. As omega is constant, so differentiation of a constant is 0. Differentiation of a constant is 0. Then here alpha. So omega is not constant, so here alpha not equal to 0. Then point number 4. Now think about now tangential acceleration. Alpha r. As alpha 0, so tangential acceleration also 0. You see alpha 0. So tangential acceleration 0. But here tangential acceleration alpha r, alpha not equal to 0. So this is not equal to 0. Then come to radial acceleration. V square by r. V is constant, r is constant. V is constant and r is always constant, so this is constant. But what happens here? Radial acceleration, v square by r, v is not constant, so this is not constant. What is the net acceleration? Net acceleration is here as tangential 0, so net acceleration is only radial acceleration. That means in uniform circular motion, only one acceleration present, that is called radial acceleration. Only one acceleration in uniform circular motion, that is radial or centripetal acceleration. There is no tangential acceleration. But in this case, net acceleration is tangential acceleration plus radial acceleration. So these are the differences between uniform and non-uniform circular motion. Uniform example I told you, the hands of a clock. Non-uniform example also I told you, that in vertical circle, somebody, something, some object moves in vertical circle. That is non-uniform circular motion. But now, did you get any physical meaning of tangential acceleration and radial acceleration? So in this case, in uniform circular motion, what changes? Only direction change. Here only direction change. So because speed is constant, here speed constant, only direction of motion change, direction of velocity change. velocity direction change, but here speed change as well as direction change. Here both change here. Then you mark one thing, that when only direction change or direction change, then the radial acceleration comes. Radial acceleration or centripetal acceleration is due to change of a direction of a velocity, due to change of a direction. And here also you see the direction change, hence this acceleration comes. But from which change this acceleration comes? From which change this tangential acceleration comes? Due to change in speed. Due to change in speed, tangential acceleration comes. So can you able to mark what is the meaning of physical meaning, that when tangential come, when radial acceleration come? When the direction, only due to change in direction of a motion or direction of a velocity, radial acceleration comes. But when the speed changes, then tangential acceleration comes. That means tangential acceleration is due to the change in speed, radial acceleration is due to the change in direction. Change in direction, rate of change of a direction, that provides you radial acceleration. Rate of change of a speed, that provides you tangential acceleration. So this is the difference between uniform and non-uniform circular motion. Next we move to another quantity in the circular motion, that is very well known quantity, time period. Time period. It is the time taken to complete one circular path. That is time period, to complete one circular path. So what is time period? If the radius is r and the speed is suppose v, constant speed. Okay, constant speed is uniform circular motion. I am telling, if speed is v, the distance covered in one complete circular path is 2 pi r and time taken is t. Now definition is clear. The time taken to complete one circular path, v is equal to 2 pi r by t. So implies that t is equal to 2 pi r by v, or what is this 2 pi r by, in place of v can I write r omega, in place of v I put r omega. So this is 2 pi by omega. This is a very important formula which we will use in next chapters of physics. In next chapters of physics we will use this one. T is equal to 2 pi by omega. Everywhere this formula will be used. Time period. What is the time period of your hour hand of the clock? What is the time period? The time taken for complete circular path, to complete one circular path. What is the time period of hour hand of the clock? 1 hour. Some students wrongly always think the answer time period of hour hand is 1 hour. No. Time period of hour hand is 12 hours. What is the time period of a minute hand? When complete one circular path, 60 minutes, that is equal to 1 hour. 1 hour. What is the time period of a second hand? You will think. Okay, I told you two answers. You will think about the time period of second hand. We will come to now discuss about the next quantity, that is frequency. Next quantity is frequency. What is frequency? The number of a circular path it complete in 1 second. In 1 second, how many times it complete the circular path? That is called frequency. 1 second, how many times it complete the circular path? you know its symbol is nu or f or n, that is 1 by time period. 1 by time period is the frequency, but why it is 1 by time period? Or it's like this. Why it is 1 by time period? So very simply by unitary method you can understand. In t second, it complete one circular path. In 1 second, it complete 1 by t circular path. So that is frequency. T second 1 circular path. In 1 second 1 by t circular path. So that is frequency. So nu is equal to 1 by t. So what are the units of this nu frequency? You can write hertz, you can write cycles per second, you can write revolutions per second, you can write revolutions per minute, revolutions per minute, RPM. RPM, you must have heard about this RPM. It is used in all electrical appliances. If you go to the market to buy one grinder, okay, the shopkeeper will advertise you that this grinder RPM is this much, that grinder RPM is this much. Means in 1 minute it complete how many rotations, it complete how many circular path. RPM, revolutions per minute or rotations per minute. How many revolutions it make in 1 minute? When you go to the market to buy fan, this company fan is this much RPM, that company fan is that much RPM. So RPM word, when you go to buy washing machine, also RPM. Okay, but in washing machine it's not completely RPM because that's not complete circular path. Okay, but in grinder and fan, RPM is most required. But what other formulas does the frequency have? Nu is equal to 1 by t, I told. So in place of t, can I write 2 pi by omega? So this is omega by 2 pi, right? So this is omega is coming 2 pi nu. 2 pi nu. So from this frequency formula, we get another formula also here. Omega is equal to 2 pi nu. Okay, so another quantity now comes here, that is called angular frequency. Remember angular frequency. What is angular frequency? The product of a frequency with a 2 pi. The product of frequency with 2 pi is called angular frequency. Frequency to 2 pi. So that is which quantity? Omega. So that is which quantity? Omega. So angular frequency is the same as angular velocity. This is actually angular velocity we have got from there. So angular frequency is same as angular velocity. The product of frequency with 2 pi. So this is all about the different quantities used in circular motion. Then we'll go to what is centripetal force. This is very important part here. Centripetal force in circular motion. The force which is responsible to keep a body in circular path is called as centripetal force. Why force is required to move a body, to make a body to move in circular path? Is that force necessary to make a body to move in circular path? Let's discuss. When body moves in circular path, may be uniform, may be non-uniform, must velocity change. If velocity change, then acceleration is there. Acceleration not equal to 0. Maybe radial, maybe both, but acceleration not equal to 0, must it has acceleration. Circular motion means velocity change and acceleration must exist. And if acceleration exists according to Newton, if acceleration is there, that acceleration is not possible without force. The translation cannot possible without force. So force must is there, and this force is called as centripetal force. Without force, circular motion cannot possible. Without force. Why? Because velocity must change, acceleration must come, and without force acceleration cannot come. So force must present. And the force which is necessary to keep a body in circular path is called centripetal force. That force is called centripetal force. Let's discuss one example of circular motion. One example of circular motion, let's discuss. If we assume, I told you that we can assume this is sun, this is earth, this is your mother earth. Earth moves around sun in circular path. Assume, I told, not exactly circular. Earth move around the sun in circular path. When earth moves, which force is necessary? Which force is required? Centripetal force is required. Centripetal force is required. And which force play the role of a centripetal force here? Which force? Which force play the role of here centripetal force? Which force provide the necessary centripetal force? Which force fill up the requirement here? That is a gravitational force. Gravitational force comes and play the role of a centripetal force and fill up the necessity, hence the body moves in circular path. This is centripetal force. I will tell you another example. Another example is your electron. Your electron, according to your Bohr's model, this is nucleus. This is nucleus and this is electron. According to Bohr's model, the electron revolves around the nucleus in circular path. But when electron revolves in circular path, which force is required? Centripetal. Who provides centripetal force? Coulomb force. The attraction between positive and negative charge, the electrostatic attraction. The electric force provides the necessary centripetal force here. Otherwise, electron cannot move. Then, that means here centripetal force is gravitational force, but here centripetal force is electrostatic force. Yes. Not only this, we will go to another example. Suppose by the help of your vehicle, you negotiate a turn. You negotiate a turn. On the road, there is a turn. By the help of the vehicle, you are now moving on this turn. So then for a while you are moving in circular path. So must force is there. So who is the force who provide you the necessary centripetal force? Who play the role of a centripetal force? Who is the force here? Help to move in the circular path. What is that force? Friction. Friction between the tire and the road play the role of necessary centripetal force. So it's a matter to be astonished. Here centripetal force, gravitational force, here centripetal force, electrostatic force, here centripetal force is friction. So what is the centripetal force? Means centripetal force is nothing. Different forces are playing the role of centripetal force. To clear this doubt, I am just giving you one example. Just I am giving you one example. So centripetal force is not such force exist in the day-to-day life. Like in Hindi movies, there is no such person called as a hero exist in our day-to-day life. If you see one Hindi movie, if you want to make a Hindi movie, one hero role is required. But who is hero? Is there any person called as a hero in our day-to-day life? Is there any person called as hero? No. But what is hero? Hero is a requirement. Hero is a necessity. Hero is required to make a Hindi movie. When you are going to make a Hindi movie, suppose I will tell Chris. If you want to go to make a Hindi movie, suppose Chris, then a hero role is required. One person come and play the role of a hero. One person come, like Hrithik come and play the role of hero there. If you tell we are going to make another Hindi movie, that is suppose Dabang, okay. If we make another Hindi movie, Dabang, so one hero role is required. But no such person exists called as a hero like centripetal force. Somebody come and play the role of that, fill up the requirement. So someone come and fill up the requirement of a hero in Dabang movie. Hrithik come and play the role of a hero in Grace. This is the thing now. I hope now you could able to understand. Centripetal force is just like a hero in the movies. It is just a requirement, but there is no such force exist called a centripetal force. No. It's just like a hero. So in this case, who play the role of a hero? Gravitational force. Who play the role of a hero? Electrostatic force. Who play the role of a hero? Frictional force. The real forces are coming and playing the role of centripetal force. So hope you could able to understand about the existence of a centripetal force. That centripetal force, not any real force exists in day-to-day life. There is no such force. Some force come and play the role as per the requirements. But now we'll derive the expression of this centripetal force. How will derive the expression of centripetal force? Now you see, one body moves in circular path. We derive the expression for a uniform circular motion. For a uniform circular motion, one body moves in circular path. Radius is r. The body is supposed at A. The body is moving in anti-clockwise direction. Here it has the velocity in this direction. Tangent. The velocity is along the tangent. And after some time, suppose the body comes to point B. So this is the radius. And here the velocity is along the tangent. This is V2. This is V2. But as the body moves in uniform circular motion, so speed constant means V1 vector magnitude, V2 vector magnitude is equal to V. Magnitudes are same. But why V1, V2? Because of their change in direction. Because of a change in direction, I saw two velocities. And your aim is to find force. To find force, what we need? Acceleration. Because force is equal to mass into acceleration. We need acceleration. Okay, to find force, we need acceleration. Mass is given to us, a body of mass M is moving. To find acceleration, what is the formula of acceleration? Del V by del T. So to find acceleration, we have to find out del V, change in velocity. So first find change in velocity, then find acceleration, then find force. You now understood the whole derivation what I am going to do. First I will find change in velocity, then I will find acceleration, then I will find force. Let's first find change in velocity. How I will find the change in velocity? Del V vector, that is V2 vector minus V1 vector. Final velocity minus initial velocity. So now let's do where the del V vector at and how geometrically we will find del V vector. So without drawing the diagram here, I don't want to make it clumsy. So I am just V1 I am taking to this side. So this is V1. Just parallel to it. This is the V1 vector. Okay. O small a. A, this line, suppose I am writing this X. X is parallel to OA. Then V2 vector, just I shift parallel. This is V2 vector, you see. This is V2 vector. So this is V2 vector. Suppose you write small b. This V2 vector parallel this. I just shift the vector to there to find a del v vector. So where will be the direction of del v vector? So del v means v2 vector plus minus v1 vector. Plus minus v1. So let's draw minus v1. This is minus v1, right? v1 opposite minus v1. So v2 is added with minus v1. And the resultant will be, which law will be used here? When v2 is added with minus v1, which law? Triangular law or parallelogram law? Triangular law or parallelogram law? If you are thinking parallelogram law, then you are correct. So because they start from common point, we have to draw one parallelogram. You see. Okay, so this is the parallelogram. So if this is the parallelogram, this is your del v vector. So this is the subtraction resultant del v vector. And if this is del v vector, you just shift it parallelly. This one will be del v vector. So this is the del v vector. You just shift it parallel. Okay, so this vector will be the del v, because this is v1, this is v1. This is v1, this line is v1, and this dotted red line is v1. So it shifts parallelly. So it will fit to there. So this is del v vector. So del v vector is acting along from A to B. So now we got the direction of del v vector is along A to B. So now you see we got here two triangles. If you compare the triangles O, A, B, similar, O, A dash, B dash. These two triangles are similar. You use your mathematical relationship, then you can able to know this triangle and this triangle are similar. That is up to you how mathematics relationship will apply to the similarity of the two triangles. Okay, so this is the angle described by them, that is theta. Angle described by them, that is theta. So then also this angle will be theta here. Angle between two radius is theta. Then angle between their tangents also will be theta. Okay, so here OAB, OA dash, B dash. If this is valid, then OA, then here OA, if I will take OA here, OA by AB. AOB I am treating as a triangle. If theta is very small, so it is AB, like AB is assumed to be a straight line. Okay, so then this is if OA, here OA dash. If this is AB, then A dash, B dash. So implies that what is OA? Radius R. What is AB? AB is the distance covered. So distance is speed into time. Distance is equal to speed into time. Then OA dash is what? OA dash. I am writing this A dash, not required A dash. This is simple AB. Small AB. Okay, because no small others A are there. OA. So this is OA is what? I say this OAB. Okay. So OA is simply V1. OA length is V1, but V1 magnitude is what? V. So this OA is V. Try to understand. This OA is V. What is AB? That is del V. That is del V. Then from this, you see now what is del V by del T. Del V by del T is V squared by R. So this is nothing but the acceleration V squared by R. This is the acceleration of the body in circular motion. This is the acceleration called as centripetal acceleration, which acts along the radius towards the center. That one also will check, but this is the acceleration. If this is the acceleration, then what is the force? F is equal to ma. So mv square by r. If in exam the question comes to find only up to the acceleration, you will leave here. But if it is asked to find centripetal force, then you have to proceed further. mv square by r. Also you can change it m in place of v if you put r omega. So also you will get this expression m r omega square. M r omega square is one formula. mv square by r is one formula. So this is the expression of centripetal force. Okay, centripetal force. But the question is, this is the magnitude of the centripetal force. But where is the direction of the centripetal force? How can we find the direction of centripetal force? Sometimes also the direction comes in exam. Direction of a centripetal force. For that, in triangle OAB, you neglect this theta. In both, if this theta, this theta. If you neglect the theta, what happens here? If you neglect theta, in triangle OAB, what happens? Angle A theta. This, let's write this angle as theta plus angle OAB plus OBA 180 degree. But if this theta is neglected, this plus this is equal to 180. But these two angles are same. Why? Because V1 is equal to V2. If V1 is equal to V2, so these two angles are same. Okay? If they are same, so can I write 2 OAB is equal to 180. So simply OAB is equal to 90. So can I tell that OA is perpendicular AB. OA is perpendicular AB. Okay, this one pair we got. By assuming theta as very small. Then you say another perpendicular pair here in this triangle. In this triangle, if you see, in this triangle, this is AX. AX perpendicular AO. AX perpendicular AO. But you see, OA parallel AX. As OA parallel AX, so AB parallel AO. So this also parallel to this. If this also parallel to this, del V vector acts along AB means that del V vector acts along AO. AO means so AB parallel AO, so del V vector is along AO. AO means along the radius towards the center. So this is the direction of the centripetal force. So we derive the expression of centripetal force as well as the direction of centripetal force. The last part of this question is centrifugal force. The question comes now, what is centrifugal force? What is this force? When a body moves in a circular path, when one force acts on the body towards the center, only one force acts on the body. If one force acts on the body, then why the body is not pulled towards the center? Because along the force the body moves. The body should move. So why the body is not pulled towards the center? If one force acts, and that is one unbalanced force. That is one unbalanced force, the body should move towards the center. Is this question not coming to your mind? If one force acts, the body should come towards the center. So then we imagine, no, there must be another force acting on the body, which is our imagination. Which is our imagination? There is no such force exists. That is an unreal force, we say. That is a pseudo force. Pseudo means false. We are telling pseudo force, which can say is present there, which act opposite to this centripetal force and equal in magnitude, named as centrifugal force. So centrifugal force is an unreal force, pseudo force, imaginary force, which is equal in magnitude and opposite in direction to centripetal force. That means it acts along the radius but away from center. And if it's magnitude if I light centrifugal force, this is minus of a centripetal force, so minus mv square by r, centrifugal force. But where this centrifugal force is used? Where this centrifugal force is used in our day-to-day life? Where this one is used? Centrifugal force. You think this centrifugal force is used in a machine called as centrifuge machine. Centrifuge machine. In centrifuge machine, centrifugal force is used. So where is that centrifuge machine? Have you seen that centrifuge machine? That is used in patholabs to separate the blood contents. That centrifuge machine. You have not seen that in patholab, but you have seen that machine is not used only now. That have been using by our persons, our ancestors from long time. Where you have seen that centrifuge machine? You all have seen the Janmashtami, Sri Krishna birth, that function Janmashtami you have seen. You have seen the mother of Sri Krishna, Yashoda, churning the curd to get cream from there, which is the favorite item of Sri Krishna. Okay, have you seen that machine which Yashoda used in Janmashtami? Okay, so that machine what Yashoda used from the ancient time, there was the use of this concept centrifugal force. That machine is centrifuge machine, which separates the cream from the curd. So today we discussed completely circular motion. Thank you.